Well, we're getting to the end of October and we've been looking at the forecasts every day to check whether we're going to be getting frost, but sooner or later it's going to happen. And even with the best forecast in the world, if you're growing citrus out in the rural areas, then you can get unexpected frosts at low levels, and particularly in pockets that you're not going to pick up on the forecast. So we're pushing our luck leaving these lemon trees out much further. We want to try and optimize the amount of natural light they're getting, so you're always wanting to, pushing the boundaries in terms of bringing them out in early May and keeping them out in full light until the end of October. But now is really the time to consider bringing these citrus trees into some protection, whether that be a greenhouse or a conservatory as we're doing here. Now these are large pots, so moving them is quite a challenge, and they're heavy, and getting them through the door, suddenly realised just how much growth these trees have put on in their pots over the summer that we've had. And it's been an incredibly good summer. Just look at the fruit that we've got on this tree. All this fruit is now ripe and ready for picking over the next few months. We'll use this gradually throughout the winter. There's not much in the way of fruit coming on for early next season. This is about the only decent lemon on this variety, which is why it's nice to grow a few different types of lemon, because they all fruit in such different patterns. You can see this one starting to show some of the signs of the colder night temperatures. This yellowing in the leaf really is a sign it's struggling and not happy. But this particular variety always tends to have that. We have got some areas, the newer growth here, nice fresh green leaves, and the central area with some dark leaves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to water this and feed it. The pot's been out and is still quite moist. We've not allowed these to dry out at all over the summer. We will start restricting the amount of water that we're giving them and feed, and dry them out gradually throughout November into December, when we tend to keep them and the compost on the dry side. But now's a good time, if you want to shape these or cut them back, to do so. But just be aware of some of the embryonic fruit that's still forming on these. See that little bud there? And this one here, that's a pollinated lemon. And this is your new fruit that, if you can keep that in position and the tree healthy, will continue to grow over the winter months and form the next crop of lemons in the subsequent 18 months. Now, it does take between 12 months and 18 months for these fruits to set, grow, and then ripen. So it's a long process, and what we tend to find is, bringing them in at this time of year in October, the additional warmth that they get from being in the conservatory means they have a secondary flush of growth, and quite often a secondary flush of flowers. And that's good, because it means you've got that added opportunity of setting a little bit more fruit that will grow on over the subsequent 18 months. So I'm going to feed it, I'm going to water it, but this will be the last feed that it gets this year. And after that, we're just looking very closely at the compost. And I usually, as an indicator of whether I need to water or not, see these little weed seedlings on the top. I'm not going to be clearing those out, because they'll show me when they start getting really soft and dehydrated when to water this tree, long before you'll see any signs of that on these thick waxy leaves on the lemon. So consider last feed, a shape, prune, but watch out for that newly set small fruit, that you don't remove it all. And then start drying the trees out gradually, but still allowing for that secondary flush of growth, and not letting them dry out too quickly before that fruit and flower has finished doing what it's going to do this year. And then hopefully we'll see these safely kept in here. We'll be picking over them for scale insects. It's very important when you bring them in, because not only will the plants get a secondary flush of growth, but any scale insects that you've missed throughout the season will also start reproducing in this nice warm dry environment. They absolutely love that. And keep an eye out for those, and make sure you keep on top of your scale.